Hey guys, welcome to the Cosmic Light Body Podcast. This is episode 3, and it's been a long time coming. I apologize I haven't been here sooner, but I've been producing a lot of content for YouTube, my channel Cosmic Light Body on YouTube, and on Instagram as well, at Cosmic Light Body 11. So feel free to head on over to those and subscribe and join. There's a lot of good information out there. In this episode, I'm here again with Tammy, and I wanted to get into some of the things I had promised in the first episode about how do we shift our vibration, how do we get more in touch with our soul, with our higher selves. What are the things that we can do when life seems to get out of control and the mind starts whipping really fast and we feel a little bit scattered. So that's what this episode is going to be about. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I know I had promised that in the first episode, so it's going to be really, really fascinating, and I hope you enjoy it. So, Tammy, hi.
Hi.
Thanks for helping me out and joining me again.
Of course.
I know you follow a lot of the material on Instagram and YouTube and have done yoga and meditative practices and things like that, so you're familiar with a lot of this, and I know you've even had your own awakening experience.
Yep.
So I wanted to talk about just ways that we can ground ourselves and get out of the mind when life seems to take hold and take over. It's great to be able to learn a lot of this and in theory and know what to do, but when these life events happen and we really need the help, it seems like that's the point in time where all that information that we've read about and learned about vanishes.
Right.
So I want to give people some really good techniques and explain what's really going on and ways to get back into the body and get centered and get present even in the hardest moments, throughout your day and that kind of thing. So thanks again for joining me.
Of course.
So do you have any questions? I know you've listened to the episodes and the materials, and maybe you want to just lead me off with something, or?
I could start out by saying I've been practicing yoga for probably close to 20 years, and really just recently learned how to incorporate breath and breathing into that to make it more than just exercise and stretching, which I think a lot of people tend to see it that way, but there's a much bigger piece of it that we can tap into through breath work.
Yeah, that's key. That's foundational. I know there's a lot of yoga studios around, and people go practice yoga. And I've had a little bit of yoga experience. I'm primarily into martial arts, but I've had a little bit through that and meditation. Those types of things, and meditation is one of the best things you could do. But during the day, when things come up, we need to learn what's really going on, and that's what I want to talk about. And like you said with yoga, when you're practicing yoga and you're focusing on the body and you're focusing on your breath, focusing on the breath actually moves you into the body, and the various poses you go into allow you to bring your awareness to various areas in the body, and combine that with breath work, and that gets you present. During the day, we can't necessarily, when we're at the office, stop and go into a yoga pose.
Exactly.
Let's say when the boss comes in and says, "Hey, guy, I need this right away," or if somebody cuts you off in traffic, it's kind of not comfortable and practical to go into a yoga pose in the car. But there are certain techniques that we can do that will ground us.
Yeah, very easily. You can sit at your desk and take 5 deep breaths.
And breath work's very important, absolutely, and that's a great way to get present. But the thing is, during the day when we're working, whatever, we're with our kids, we tend to get our energy, our awareness gets scattered. We wake up in the morning and we're present before the mind gets going, the subconscious gets going, and thoughts start rolling in. And as thoughts start rolling in, we start getting involved. We get in the shower, we brush our teeth, we go to breakfast, we get in the car, we go to work, or if you work at home, you turn on the computer. So, shortly after you wake up, your mind's going. And then during the day, things pop up all throughout the day. And what happens is our subconscious mind is always running, and when something pops up during the day, it triggers a vibration within us that the subconscious mind now says, hey, I remember that, and that is related to this negative experience, so I'm going to get you in fight or flight mode here, and you're going to start to feel this fear.
So our bodies react without us even realizing.
Right.
We're reacting.
The body's reacting, and what's happening is it is translating the subconscious brain, because we're not aware of the body, is translating the emotion into an emotion. It's translating what the body is telling us into an emotion, fear, anxiety, and the purpose of this is so the body is trying to get our attention. The body is trying to say that you are not aware of the body. You are in your mind and you are not present. So what does this mean? Well, this means that energy slows down and stops flowing in various areas of the body. And the less present we are, the more we hang out in the mind and we let the subconscious mind run these background processes, energy flow slows down. And this will manifest in the body as illness, disease, anxiety, fear, inflammation, joint pain, a whole host of ailments and diseases. And these things manifest because of that lack of energy flow. When we neglect the body, the circuitry to connect all aspects so that energy flows through the body smoothly with little resistance, it breaks down. And as energy comes in, because we're not present with the body and we don't have our awareness in the body, the energy flow encounters blockages. And those blockages will manifest as fear, anxiety, illness, disease, etc.
So we go through our day and we feel like a knot in your stomach, something like that. You just suddenly feel like you have to cry.
Yep,
that's the energy block, right?
That's a signal. That's what's happening. Is that it's like a dam. Energy is building up, and it can't flow. So that's called resistance. And resistance, as we know, and those of you who have studied, aligning and frequency and the law of attraction, know that in the mind, resistance tells us that we're out of alignment. Now, when we go to the body will also tell us that we're out of alignment. But we don't fix resistance by simply changing our thoughts, because we have something called the subconscious mind that is running these beliefs all day long. We could only hold a thought for a few seconds, and then we're off doing the next activity. The subconscious mind continues running the old beliefs. When we get into the body, we could open up that trap door between the mind and the subconscious mind and actually change those limiting beliefs. Because the root of the communication between the mind and the soul is the body. That's the conduit. So when we go to the body, we can change the circuitry and change and enhance the energy flow. And when we increase energy flow by building circuits within the body, what happens is that we start to move more in alignment with our soul, with our divine purpose. We get more present, and we start, as a byproduct, to heal. Physical ailments heal. Chronic ailments heal. Anxiety lessens and goes away. Symptoms like irritable bowel, that kind of thing. Diabetes, this all starts to heal. And that is simply because we have gotten energy flow restored in the body. And how we do that is we start to focus our awareness on the body, and we listen to the body. And we want to do this as many times throughout the day as we can. It's called return to the body, or get back on subject. Subject is your body.
Right, okay. So how do you find that blockage in your body? You talked about go to the body and look for you'll find it. How do you look for it? How do you find it without being in your mind?
Well, the first thing is if you're in your mind and you're triggered, if you have the presence to instantly bring your awareness back to your body, you take kind of an inventory of what feels off. Something doesn't feel right, because it'll manifest. Sometimes you'll have a stressful situation come up, and maybe you've had reflux in the past, and you'll kind of feel that starting. You're like, okay, well, there's something in that area now. There's my body is telling me that there's a lack of circuitry. Okay, so we know that, and that's what's causing this stress and fear to manifest. So
you can feel tension in your jaw, or tension in your neck, or your shoulders.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and you have to know that it doesn't mean necessarily that that's where the blockage is, but the body is showing you that there is a blockage somewhere, and it's manifesting as reflux, or it's manifesting as tension.
Okay.
So what we do is we use breath work and we use anchoring techniques to bring the presence back to the body and bring online the central channel, which runs from the root, the base of the spine, all the way up through the heart, up through the chakras, the upper chakras, and out the crown, straight out the crown. This is the central channel, and this is where the base of energy comes in and flows through and moves through. And what we do is we bring those back online with various anchor points, and we focus on moving the breath through the body by squeezing these various anchor points. And what that does is it develops the central channel, and as we get better at moving breath up and down through the channel, essentially what we're doing is moving energy up and down through the channel. And when we do it consciously and we're aware of moving this up and down, we follow the breath, we become the breath up and down the channel. What happens is we are able to see the blockages, feel the blockages, because when our awareness or our mind goes astray as we're trying to move the breath up and down the body, we know that there's a lack of circuitry there because we can't hold our awareness.
When you describe the central channel, it sounds like you could almost visualize a tube, like a pipe.
It is. Think of the spinal cord, and the area where the spinal cord is, the central channel runs right through there, all the way down to the base of the spine. And that's where we focus our awareness as we're doing these exercises. And as our awareness goes astray, just like you lose attention, let's say you're watching a movie and all of a sudden your mind goes off. When you're focusing and actually being your breath, moving up and down like an elevator shaft, up and down the channel.
Okay.
When your mind
sense.
goes off, or you have an area that you skip, your awareness kind of jumps over it when you're moving breath up and down, that's an area of blockage. So those are areas that we want to focus on, we want to slow down and make sure we're actually conscious of the breath and energy moving up and down through these areas as we go up and down the central channel.
So you're not breathing quickly necessarily up and down.
No, you're breathing.
You're breathing fairly slowly with consciousness, right? Thinking about each
area, inch by inch, as you're moving up and down. And that is the starting point for clearing the blockages in the central channel. And as you get energy moving freely and your awareness is locked in, what happens is neural circuitry and electronic circuitry builds in these areas, and the energy can move up and down freely.
Wow.
And then you could take it out to the extremities, into the legs, and that kind of thing. So essentially, if you know what the chakras are and where they are, and the 7 chakras we have in the physical body, what we're doing is we're moving up and down through these chakras, and we're getting them all spinning and getting them all aligned. And as we do that, circuitry is being built, energy is flowing freely, and we're lighting up and things are coming online. And the signals from the soul coming through the body now are able to work with the body and actually heal the body, because the soul's energy is able to communicate with all aspects of the body, because we brought our awareness to it and we brought these areas online that were previously blocked. So the end result is healing and grounding as much of your soul and expanding your consciousness as possible.
Fascinating.
This is what Ascension is all about. I want to just highlight again to people that staying, it's okay to be in the mind and change your thoughts, but what's happening is we're encountering resistance with that. Like I said before, we want to get into the body, and the body is really the direct way of affecting your vibration. If you could get this energy flowing and clear these blockages, you will naturally ground more of your higher dimensional energy. Your vibration will raise. You will continue to ascend at a faster rate, and your body will heal. And what this also does is it gives you the powerful ability to manifest. because the resistance is gone. Because the resistance always stems from the body.
So is this, in a sense, a form of meditation as you're breathing? Do you get into kind of... When I've incorporated it with yoga, you kind of get into a meditative state, a very calm, relaxed place.
You get into it, you sit in a relaxed position, and it is meditate. When we meditate, we want to be able to focus on one thing. So when we're doing this, we're focusing on these anchor points, but we're focusing on really one at a time as we're moving up through them throughout the central channel. So it is equivalent to meditating.
Right, so focusing on your breath.
And you're focusing on your breath, because the breath
bringing
work...
it through each
area.
Anchor point within the channel.
And when we do this, the body will be able to tell you, we'll be able to feel and sense the body saying, hey, we need to build circuitry in this area because you can't hold your awareness there. The circuits are lacking. Therefore, energy is not flowing.
And when you get it flowing, you just naturally heal.
Correct. It's a byproduct. So we don't do this with the intent of healing. It's just the natural byproduct of energy flow. You heal.
That makes sense, because if the issue that needs to be healed is being caused by the block, then the block is removed, and the issue, the disease,
will heal.
The anxiety will heal.
Because the energy, the soul can heal. The soul energy, we're made of energy. We are energy. And we're bringing in higher vibrational energy, and it can transmute all our tissue and raise our vibration. And as it does that, it heals. It activates DNA, and it tells the brain, we're building energy flow here. We're building circuitry, so it allows the soul's energy to move through these tissues that were formerly cut off, essentially, from the energy, that have gotten sick. They can now be restored because they're back within the flow of the energy. So that's what we're doing. So we focus on awareness when we do these exercises. Healing will be a natural byproduct. It's very focused. So I just wanted to get into the one main anchor point. I think in this episode we're going to talk about mula bandha, which I'm sure you are familiar with from yoga.
For sure.
This is at the base of the spine, and this is a very old technique to basically anchor your awareness into the body.
Into the body, right.
So what it is at the base of the pelvic bowl, there are muscles that if you were going to the bathroom and you were trying to stop the stream midstream, if you constricted those muscles, those are the muscles that I'm talking about. So when we incorporate that technique into our breathing, what that does is that anchors us directly into the body. It brings our awareness right into the base of the spine, right into the root chakra.
Exactly. Women will recognize this as a Kegel exercise.
Okay.
Men will not.
Men will not.
Women will.
So that's the first part of central channel breathing, is we want to establish the root area and the root lock, and we can do that using mula bandha. So when we focus our awareness there and we constrict those muscles, and basically what we do is we constrict them, and we want to pull them up into the abdomen as hard as we can.
Right.
That anchors your awareness
the belly button
and your consciousness into the base of the spine and the root chakra. And we start from there. And from there we take a deep breath from, say, 2 feet below your feet, if you're seated, and you inhale through the nose up through that base, and you're holding the root lock the entire time, and you're moving that breath up through the root chakra, through the sacral chakra, into the solar plexus, and into the heart area. And we're doing that slowly when we're inhaling. And while we're doing this, we are focused on the breath itself. So our attention is on the breath as we actually move it from the root all the way up through into the heart area.
Right.
And we watch for blockages.
Takes a little bit of coordination at first.
It
to
is.
Hold that root lock, that mula bandha, and breathe up, focused through the chakras at the same time.
It is, and if you can't keep mula bandha engaged at 100%, you could lessen it, release it, relax it.
Just as effective.
Down to 50%. That's okay, but practice this throughout the day as many times as you can. I don't want to get into the other anchor points of the central channel in this episode, just because I think mula bandha is so important that it's good to have people aware of this and to practice it for a little bit before we incorporate other ones.
Right. It is. So it is one of the best you can. To begin, that's all you need.
And as we bring the breath up, we bring the breath up into the heart, and then you can exhale straight out, up through the other chakras, out the crown, and then reverse it, bring it from 2 feet above the crown down into the heart, holding mula bandha, and exhaling from the heart down through and out the root, into the earth 2 feet below. I urge people to practice this throughout the day. It will instantly get them present. Instantly bring their awareness back to the body, and
very calming.
And it's very calming. And if something were to come up, this is something you could do in the car.
Absolutely.
I've been cut off.
Cut off in traffic.
I've been cut off many times because I have like a half an hour, 40-minute commute every day, and I use this all the time. And not even the full central channel breathing. Sometimes I'll engage mula bandha, and I will do 4 or 5 breaths up and down through the channel, and it instantly shifts me. It calms me down, gets me out of mind, back into the body, and from there, I create the space, and I can say, whoa, that was an emotion I just experienced, but now I'm back in my body and I have space.
Right.
So when we came to Earth, we came here to be in the body, not to be in the mind, not to be etheric. We came to be here in the body.
In the body,
experiencing things
Earth from a human
perspective. And that's why it's crucial to be in the body. And what we want to do is we don't want to go out and get our consciousness. We want to ground our consciousness. And being in the body and creating circuitry, building circuitry, and removing these blockages, these dams that are in the way, that are causing illness and disease and anxiety and stress.
Lack of energy flow.
That allows us to bring down more of our multidimensional selves and experience life from that perspective. And that is so powerful. And this technique is foundational in being able to do that, and I urge everybody to practice it as many times as they can.
Practice your mula bandha and get the breath flowing through with it.
To bring your awareness to your breath and follow your breath every centimeter of the way up through the central channel and down through the central channel. And when you encounter an area that you skip over, let's say you're coming up through your throat and you skip over your throat, you just can't focus on your throat. You can't visualize, you can't become the breath in the elevator moving up through your throat chakra. That's a blockage.
Okay.
And with that, what we could do with that is we want to pull that area. When we start breathing, we want to move that squeeze it and move it into the central channel. So next time you go up the channel and you encounter that area that you had a blockage in before, bring your awareness to the area around the blockage and squeeze it as hard as you can, and continue to move the breath through it.
Right? Like a loving hug in that area.
And that's going to help bring circuitry online. So as we breathe up through it, we squeeze that area and we continue to bring breath through. And do that up and down a few times, and you'll notice that as you're following your breath, as you become your breath, you're going to start to be able to now have your awareness move through that area. And
it'll release.
It will release
the blockage.
It will build circuitry, and you will realize that now you have awareness there, which means energy is now flowing. And that translates into healing.
Fabulous.
So I hope I brought some enlightening information here on this.
I think so.
Again, this is the first anchor point in the body. It's the most important for anchoring the consciousness because it's at the root. What we're going to get into next is moving up the channel, and I will explain how to engage the other 3 anchor points, which are really gonna bring that awareness really into that central channel and allow you to find those blockages and get that energy flowing so that you could ground more of your multidimensional self. So those are going to come in the next episode or two.
Okay, so in the meantime, we have our homework
You have
to
your
work
homework.
on mula bandha and moving our breath up the channel and back down the channel.
Yep. So hope
Okay.
you enjoyed. Hope everybody listening enjoyed. Again, practice. And I'll just throw this out there one more time. If you are not following me on Instagram, it's at Cosmic Light Body 11. Go ahead, jump on. There's great stuff on there all the time. And on YouTube, I'm putting out a 4-part series on these anchor points in channel breathing. So go ahead and jump onto YouTube and subscribe to Cosmic Light Body. And I thank everybody.
There's a lot of
for
good
joining.
content on that YouTube channel. Thank you.
I really appreciate everyone stopping by and listening to this episode of the podcast. And if you loved it and you want some really cool stuff to listen to in the future and great tools and things to learn about that will help you ground your soul and expand your consciousness, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. Thanks again for stopping by. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and a comment below. Also, please subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell so that you're notified as soon as I post new videos. Also, jump on over to Instagram and follow me at Cosmic Light Body 11 and check out my podcast, Cosmic Light Body. Thanks again for stopping by.